So we know that Kyle needs to add something to this offense. He needs a wrinkle. For a while, it was Debo. He caught the defense off the league off guard. Christian McCaffrey, all the different ways the Niners used him, caught the league off guard. They need something new. So I love, let's help them out. Let's do a brainstorming session, a new wrinkle for the 49ers offense in 2025. It could be a new personnel grouping. It could be a new emphasis in terms of a play style type, more of this, less of that. Go wherever you want. I have some ideas.
Let me cook.
Nick, I have a very easy one. It's like very bland. It's use the rookies more. It's very bland. I just feel like we drafted 12 rookies. We should be using them. Not all of them, but a lot of them, because you never know. You could find a new wrinkle and they could be a new key piece to the offense. I feel like that's a very bland answer, but you told me about this question. I was like, you know what? That's the first one I have for you.
All right, let me cook here. Okay. My idea is, since Ayuk's going to be out, right, obviously, Demarcus Robinson also going to be out probably 3 games.
I love where you're going. With this. Yeah. Say it, Nick.
Why don't we cook something like the Chiefs have had fast, speedy receivers, and they're not very good. Like, they're not good. Like, granted, they have Patrick Mahomes, so it helps. But why don't we take a wrinkle in the offense where we're using Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowling, like we're using speed demons, stretching the field, and I feel like that would be so electric.
Yeah, but
like,
Nick,
we have too much speed now. Like, you could have Garendo in the slot with that group, like.
But Nick, what would you say to people that say that Purdy can't throw the ball far?
But it doesn't matter, because if you have that much speed and you're stretching the field, and even if you throw Garendo in the slot and then you have McCaffrey in the backfield, you can't tell me McCaffrey's not going to break a linebacker's ankles when there's so much room on the field.
Garendo and McCaffrey on the field at the same time. I love that. That's
dude,
a great idea.
Watkins, like, dude, I just think if you have so much speed and are able to stretch the field, like, McCaffrey's going to be wide open, or Garendo in the slot. Like, Garendo's shown he can run some routes, like, and I think he can learn from McCaffrey, and giving him time in the slot, or, running routes out of the backfield, like, he's only going to get better. I just think we need speed. Like, I've been calling for this for years now. Like, we haven't really had that speed, and that's why I was excited about Jacob Cowling, even though he didn't play. That's why I was huge on all the Ole Miss wide receivers, because they're fast and really twitchy and have good hands. So literally, I was stoked that we got Jordan Watkins. Like, I didn't care what Ole Miss receiver we got. I was like, we have to draft one of them. So my wrinkle is just speed. It needs to be speed.
I feel like, I don't know if this is a wrinkle, but I feel like just keeping it simple. I feel like Kyle Shanahan last year, he tried to do too much, and it was just like he was calling weird plays, doing a bunch of weird stuff. I think just keeping it simple.
Get started at factormeals.com/Cohn50off and use code Cohn50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
I don't know if that's a wrinkle.
Let me give you some wrinkles. Here's what I'm thinking. So, one, I'd like to see, instead of the Niners have a base 21 personnel offense like we've seen for the last 8 years, we use check. You just spent all this money on Luke Farrell, man. I'd like to see two tight ends.
Use them.
Because the Niners have always been such a left-hand dominant running game. Like, you put Kittle next to Trent, you run that way, and wow, it's great. But, like, what if you could actually run the other direction, and defenses had to honor that? I think I think they could have a better running game, passing game out of 12. I want to see what that looks like. And then we talked about earlier in the show, Purdy held on to the ball too long last year. It was way too much. The air yards were too much. The time to throw was too much. When he's at his best, there's a lot of throws to running backs. And I don't think it should just be checkdowns. I'd like Kyle to call more passes to running backs. And that means, like, more screens. I think one of the things that like Goff and Baker really benefited from last year was just
an
incredible array of screens that are just straight up layups. Two in Miami, man. Just a ton of screens. I'd love to see Kyle go in his bag and have spend an extra month this offseason coming up with new screens. And for guys like Garendo. Garendo has 4.3 speed, dude. I'd love to see you throw at least one screen to Garendo a game, one screen to McCaffrey a game, one screen to Watkins a game. That's going to make Brock's life so much easier. So I want to start there.
Yeah, and it keeps the defense honest. Like, if you're trying to stretch the field, it keeps the defense honest when you're throwing screen passes. Like, they have to play up. And now that we have the speed, like, I agree, that's one huge thing. And then, on our show, I feel like this was like 6 months ago, but this was a while ago. But like on our show, I was talking about how they need to pull a page out of the Bills book. like their playbook. Like the Bills were running 2 tight end sets 80% of the time, and what they would cook up, it was so fun to watch, man. Like they were killing it with 2 tight end sets, and I would love to have. I mean, it's just like what we've been wanting on the defensive side of the ball, like just more creativity. Like I don't want it being so bland. And like to your point, like we've ran that same personnel so much every year. It's like, dude, let's mix it up. Like it's okay to run that personnel, but like let's do it, 50% of the time instead of 95% of the time.
Yeah, because it was catching defenses off guard in 2019. It's 2025. You got to have something new and stay one step ahead. So I think just Garendo in general, like, you can't overuse McCaffrey. That's the quickest way to ruin your season is to get him hurt in September because he gave him 20-something touches. So Garendo, like, he doesn't have the vision, but he's going to pop a couple long ones a game. And as a receiver, I think there's a lot of potential there. He played receiver in high school. He's a deep threat. I mean, those wheel routes to him were effective last year. And the idea again of like, you have Kittle and Jennings on one side and you can like draw the defense's attention over there. And then boom, it's a screen to Garendo on the other side. Those are potential touchdowns. This guy's a home run hitter. I love the idea of what he could do if you use him the right way.
100%.
And of course there's Cowing and there's Watkins too, but you got to get the ball out of Purdy's hands quicker this year. You got to make his life easier. You did that with Jimmy for years. I used to call him the Jimmy gimmies, like layups. Where there needs to be more of those.
With this offensive line, yes, Purdy has to be releasing the ball way quicker.
Yeah, we'd love to see him throw it deep to Jordan Watkins and Jacob Cowing because that would add a beautiful element to the offense. But you kind of have to have the offensive line to match. And we'll see.
I think it'll help. As much as people joke about the Luke Farrell signing, like I do think that's going to help. Like the amount of times I've had to watch Kittle stay in the line and block when you're just taking away one of the best receivers, especially tight end receivers of like all time. Like literally, he's that guy. And him just watching him block, and I know he's one of the best blockers, like blocking tight ends of all time too. Like he's so good, but I just hate like seeing him getting taken away from the offense. So having Luke Farrell, I think it's going to help a lot.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's really going to help their play action passing game because I think what they want to do is put him on a D end, have him like hold up long enough and have Kittle out in the pattern. So if he can actually do that, they'll be way better in play action. But I want to see screens mixed in addition. And I don't know, I guess.
Let's give Kittle some screens.
No, the last thing we need to talk about is we need to give Kyle some ideas for the red zone. He needs new ideas for the red zone. And I feel like just asking Brock to like force the ball into the end zone to Kittle and Jennings. Yeah, he can do that a few times. It's like, a month, but they need easier ways to score beyond just handing off. Again, I think that's where throwing the ball to your running backs comes in, screens come in.
We got to hope and pray that CMC's back to healthy because CMC was a red zone demon when we went to the Super Bowl. So
he was,
but also too, if you think about it, like that goes back to the point that I just made about Luke Farrell. Like how many times last year did we see George Kittle is a red zone demon? But the problem is with how much Shanahan wants to run the ball in the red zone, he's blocking the whole time. So
now you have Luke Farrell.
Away that threat completely. Yes. And now you have that and Kittle. So it's like you could run play action and Kittle's catching everything. There's so many times you watch Kittle catch touchdowns and you're just
the Patriots game.
I don't even understand it. Yeah.
The Patriots game when he
catches some crazy touchdowns.
Nick, the Patriots game when he mossed those two defenders, like literally just caught it over them. And then even the Seahawks game when Purdy placed it in his bread. I like that point, Nick. I like that point.